Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Brian Hubbard. Ever since the state of Minnesota permitted the sale of certain non-explosive and non-aerial fireworks, some residents have taken to celebrating Independence Day with party poppers, snakes, and the colorful showers of fountains and sparklers. But even these seemingly benign fireworks need to be handled with care. According to the Minnesota State Fire Marshal Division, fireworks-related incidents have cost more than $4.5 million over the past decade. Between 30 and 100 firework-related injuries are reported in the state each year. Of those injuries, half affect those under the age of 19.
And some of the things that we want to do is we want to encourage folks to utilize them in a supervised manner. That is, to have a competent adult supervising and overseeing the use of these fireworks. The other thing that we want to make sure is that you don't mix fireworks with alcohol or other mood-altering chemicals.
To minimize risk and avoid injury, store fireworks in a cool, dry location, keep fireworks away from small children and never let them use fireworks unsupervised. Read the instructions and only use them as instructed. Always use fireworks outdoors. Make sure they are on a hard, non-combustible surface away from anything that could catch fire. Only light one firework at a time and then move away quickly. Do not relight malfunctioning or dud fireworks. Pick up the spent fireworks with a shovel and soak in a bucket of water overnight before disposing of them. Fireworks that explode or fly through the air, such as bottle rockets and Roman candles, are illegal, and complaints regarding their use will be investigated and can lead to their confiscation. Violation of this law can result in fines up to $3,000 or 1 year in jail. Legal fireworks are prohibited on public property and should only be used on private property with caution.
Even though that certain fireworks have been legalized in the state of Minnesota, that doesn't mean that they don't come without their own risks. For example, a simple sparkler can burn at 1200 degrees, and if they're not supervised and used the way that they're intended to, they can cause injury.
Residents are reminded that the safest way to experience fireworks is from a distance and in the hands of professionals. The city's annual fireworks display is at dusk July 4th at Roslyn Park. With the school year wrapping up and summertime upon us, many children and teenagers will be left with extra time on their hands. To help our children make good decisions, this month's Focus In segment highlights curfew. Edina's curfew laws help youth stay safe by ensuring they are off the streets late at night, lessening their chances of being victimized. Also, they help deter youth from getting involved in dangerous or illegal activities.
We've got a curfew law in the city of Edina to help cut down on nuisance crimes. In addition, it helps lessen the victimization of kids after hours. We've got kind of a saying, nothing good happens after midnight, and that's true here in Edina. If your kids are out after midnight, something isn't going to go right.
The city's curfew laws are modeled after Hennepin County's and require juveniles 12 years of age and younger to be home by 9 p.m. on weekdays and 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Juveniles ages 12 to 14 must be home by 10 p.m. on weeknights and 11 p.m. on weekends. Juveniles ages 15 to 17 must be in by 11 p.m. on weeknights and midnight on weekends. Edina police officers will be on the lookout for minors out past curfew, as increased enforcement efforts have shown a correlation in the decrease of quality of life crimes. There are exceptions to this law, including but not limited to a minor being accompanied by a responsible adult, his or her lawful employment, and participation in an official school, religious, or publicly sponsored recreational event. When an accident scene calls for the jaws of life, the mention of this tool lends a certain gravity to the situation. In rescue operations where this hydraulic cutting and spreading tool is needed, no other tool in an emergency responder's arsenal will do. With its portability, spreading force of more than 50,000 pounds per square inch, and cutting force of 200,000 pounds per square inch, it is indispensable in freeing victims from auto wreckage and in accidents involving industrial machinery. Let's go to the South Metro Public Safety Training Facility, where paramedic firefighter Ryan Quinn and Matt Willems will give us a demonstration of the jaws of life in action.
Thanks, Brian. We're here today at the Southwest Metro Public Safety Training Facility. I'm here with firefighter paramedic Matt Willems. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out. We're here today to talk about the jaws of life. What can you tell me about them?
Well, we can use them for lots of stuff. Really, anytime we need to cut through or pry through big pieces of metal, we can use these. Primarily, we use them for car accidents, but we can also use them for industrial accidents, any type of heavy machinery accident, things of that nature.
Now, with the engines that we have here in Edina, we carry a couple different types of jaws of life. Which types do we carry?
Well, jaws of life actually refers to a couple different tools, and the three ones we have in our engines are the cutters, which are basically a big scissors. We have the spreaders, which are the exact opposite. They spread and pry through metal. And we also have hydraulic rams, which just push metal.
Would you use them all on the same type of accident? Or when would you use the spreaders versus the cutters in a car crash?
Conceivably, you could use all three tools in one accident. They all have a different purpose, though. We primarily use the cutters to cut through the posts on the cars. That's so we can get the roof off. We'll use the spreaders mostly to pop open doors. That's what we use them most often for. And the rams we can use to actually push the dash out. So if the car is compressed on a person, we can give them some space.
Why don't you give us a demonstration? Show us exactly how these things work.
You got it.
Wow, Matt, that's impressive. Got the door open, able to take the patient out safely and quickly. Today you use the spreaders. Based on the car that we have here today, why wouldn't you use the cutters?
Well, we want to take them out the easiest way possible. In this case, taking them out through the door is probably the easiest. If the car was damaged more heavily, we could take the cutters, cut off the roof, and take them out up top.
But we've got all these tools if we need them, and you have to be prepared for whatever type of crash that you have to respond to. Matt, you did a great job here today. Thank you so much for showing us the jaws of life. Brian, back to you. Stay classy, Edina.
Thank you, Ryan. Capping off a year of hands-on training, teams of young people interested in law enforcement recently competed in the Minnesota Explorers State Conference to show off their skills. Edina and Eden Prairie's Explorer Post 925 spent the weekend in Rochester, where the competition was held. Edina 16's Dietrich Nissen spent a day finding out what it means to be an explorer.
Respect, confidence, leadership. Those are the qualities students Kayla Steen and John Nelson say they've learned by joining the Police Explorers. It's a group open to youth 14 to 21 who may be interested in a career in law enforcement.
Even if you're not looking to go into law enforcement, it's still great. You learn leadership skills, confidence. It looks good on any resume, whether you're going, no matter where you go. You can go into business and it still looks good.
I think outside of career exploration, it's a great way to meet other people interested in similar things. It's a great way to get leadership or just responsibility, learn about that, work through your city, get some volunteer hours.
Both want to become police officers. They say this statewide competition is a surefire way to develop their law enforcement skills.
I want to be a patrol officer, hopefully progress in the K-9 unit.
What it does is it obviously helps them understand what law enforcement is all about. What they see on TV isn't always what is really the reality of what we do.
Before he became an Edina police officer, Dave Busalis was an explorer in Post 925.
My favorite part of being an explorer was just meeting all kinds of different people that were my age that were interested in the same thing that I was.
Now, as one of its advisors, he says their goal is to show just how diverse an officer's job can be.
You're kind of like a counselor. You kind of wear a lot of hats. And being a counselor, being a teacher, and so that's what makes it really fun, and it's challenging every single day.
You step away from the car.
From traffic stops to crime scene investigation, the weekend tested every aspect of being an officer. And even though the shooting scores weren't the highest,
Oh, you don't want to see it, trust me.
everyone had a good time.
I've shot better, but I've certainly shot worse too.
We all have an interest in law enforcement or community service of some sort, so it's nice to talk with people. If you have questions just surrounding, interview process or anything like that, it's just it's nice to have.
In Rochester, Dietrich Nissen, Edina 16.
Out of the 50 or so Explorer posts across Minnesota, Post 925 took second place in both first aid and crime prevention. The team also placed in use of force, white-collar crime, and the slow-fire pistol competition. The team meets every Tuesday. If you're interested in joining the Explorers Post, call 952-826-1610 and ask for David Busalis. On behalf of my co-host, paramedic firefighter Ryan Quinn, and the City of Edina's public safety team, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.
Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.